Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
You are cruising along with Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com. A little while ago, we had our friends from Tint World on the show, and they showed us some of their ceramic coatings and the products to keep those looking good. Well, guess what? Tint is in the name, Tint World. So window tint is how you guys really started, Joe, back in the 80s. And what inspired your founder to start the business in the first place?
Charles, our CEO, always had an knack for trying to get an automotive accessory place where it's a one-stop shop. You could just go to one place, get tint, accessories, whatever you want. And when he came down to Florida, Tint World was established already in 1982 and started with 6 locations. And he saw an opportunity. He bought the company. Back in 2007, we started franchising Tint World. And today we're, have 100 franchisees worldwide and 100 in development right now.
What makes Tint World different from some of the other tint brands out there?
What makes us unique is our franchising system. We have a support system that supports our franchisees, and we have intensive training where we have certified technicians and teach them everything that they need from everyday operations to technical aspects of doing the actual jobs. We really concentrate on making sure our franchisees are successful. If they don't succeed, we don't succeed. We want to sell more stores. The only way we're going to be able to sell more stores is by having a success story behind it. Our stores, on an average, reach their ROI in 6-8 months. A lot of businesses don't hit that for a long period of time.
That's pretty amazing. Now let's talk about the window tints and the products you actually sell. What sets your actual product apart from some of the others out there?
We offer various different packages. So we have film in everybody's budget. However, the film is kind of like cars, right? The technology changes throughout the years. So a car from the 80s doesn't necessarily need the modern film of today, because today we have a lot more electronics in our cars. So what separates us is that ours is made in the US, manufactured to our specifications, and we go for the highest grade possible to offer our consumer the best product.
And then how is the installation process different than others we've seen?
We use a computer cut software. So if I cut a Subaru, like what's behind us, every car that comes in is going to get that same exact fit. All right, and we use state-of-the-art software. It makes the installation more precise, and it helps the technician to get the job done faster and more accurately.
What are some of the main reasons folks are getting their windows tinted?
So when people see tinted windows, biggest thing is that everybody associates it with heat. But there's a big thing that a lot of people with medical conditions, skin cancer, eye conditions. So there's also that medical exempt. For example, if you needed to get your windshield tinted, that's illegal in many states, right? But with a medical exempt, you can actually get that and protect your eyes. Our film is actually recognized by the Skin Cancer Foundation. So it's known to help aid of preventing skin cancer.
And we're not just talking about windows, you have films to protect the rest of the car as well.
Absolutely. We have our PPF, which is our paint protection film, and we also do, vehicle vinyl wraps and vinyl stripes and all that other stuff.
How many Tint World stores are there out there?
So currently we have 100 stores open up, like I said, worldwide. 100 are in development, and to find the nearest Tint World to you, you just simply go to our website, tintworld.com. We have a store locator. You punch in your zip code, and it's going to show you the stores that are available in your area.
And what if I want to become a franchisee? How do I do that?
Very similar. On that same website, we have a section that's going to be for the franchisee development. You submit your information, our development team will contact you, and then they'll tell you all the next steps that you do to become a new owner of a Tint World brand.
If you're a customer, you're going to love what Tint World can do for your vehicle. And if you're looking to franchise, I've been talking to Joe about some of the stuff they do to support their franchisees, and it is second to none. Check it all out at tintworld.com. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com, so do not go anywhere.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. CampbellsCustomCare.com, home of the Don Detail Spray. And by PaintedAutoBodyParts.com, the leading U.S. auto body parts online store.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com. Now, if you're looking for an affordable and easy way to upgrade your vehicle or protect it, bedliner material is fantastic. And there's a lot of bedliners to choose from out there, but aftermarket armor is different. What sets it apart from other things I'll find on the market?
So what sets this apart is application. You have a 4-hour pot life, which is twice as long as anybody else's.
So once you've mixed it and you get it in the pot on your sprayer, it's going to be there for 4 hours.
Yeah, correct. And the other thing is, too, is the many different textures. You can get anything from mild to wild, heavy texture to light texture.
Well, here's a great, we'll look at the Jeep here in a second, but check this out. They brought this in as a demo here. Now, what are the different surfaces here on this toy truck?
What this shows you is a high metallic gold color with the gold tintable bed liner. Then you have a light surface here where you can go on wheel flares, something you want kind of like a light texture.
It's like a metal flake look to it.
Correct.
Very cool, and all that with the same product.
Absolutely.
Which is very cool. So let's talk about aftermarket armor here. How many different colors are we talking?
Anybody's that has a solvent-borne base coat line, you can add any of their colors in there. As long as it's solvent-borne, they can go into the tintable bed liner, and you can create whatever you want.
So just like painting, you can
Absolutely. The other thing is, too, is some guys want to highlight maybe wheel flares or the insides of their wheels. You can do it with that, the same red on the black. It's a great contrast.
And let's talk about the different kinds of finishes you can get here. You brought in, this is what the base fender would look like, or the stock fender would look like here. So what am I looking at here?
So basically, if you bought a wheel flare and you wanted to add it to your vehicle, it's going to come in this raw plastic. You would put a sealer or primer on it, base it, you could clear coat it. This emulates also if it was a factory clear coat, factory finish, and then you can tint our color. You can see, due to the fact that it's texture, it looks very close to the base coat, if not exact. Obviously, it's not going to be a shiny clear because it's a texture coat, but you can get any of the colors that you want. So this blue is on a lot of the newer Chevy or Ford trucks. You can see it. It's right there.
And it looks fantastic. Let's talk about the Jeep now. From stem to stern here, of course, we have the metal here in the bull bar on the front. What's it like to apply aftermarket armor to metal, to steel?
Very user-friendly. We supply a shoots gun in there. We also have an adjustable shoots gun. So if you wanted the different textures, not as fine as that can come out of your regular spray gun, but you can get pretty fine, as we will see on some of the Jeep parts. That way it kind of differentiates if you were to do a whole vehicle like we did here.
And then the fender flares, we saw how those work. And you're using the same line of products.
Absolutely.
To get a different finish, so you're getting that nice matte finish there on the fender flares. And then moving back, you of course did the mirrors the same as you did the fender flares. The wheels, a different material altogether.
So that's very user-friendly too. A lot of it, as it goes, is in the prep work. So you want to scuff it, you want to apply a light adhesion promoter, they were aluminum, and then you put the bed liner right on top of it, or the aftermarket armor.
And this will blow you away. Look at the interior of this Jeep. You guys even did some of the dash
Yes.
with the same line of products from aftermarket armor. And again, how is that applied?
So that's very user-friendly. It can come out of a spray gun, or we can sell it in aerosols. So it definitely can spruce up your vehicle. This vehicle was a little rough when it came in. Now we went stem to stern with it and made it look pretty much brand new.
Is this something folks can do themselves at home?
Absolutely, yes.
And how are you making it easy for them?
There's different applications. Obviously what we're using on this was air application, but you can roll it on and get the same application or look. And in the interior, if you got aerosols, you can put it in aerosols, or it's sold in aerosols, and you can buy it that way.
Now, what comes in the kit for the do-it-yourselfer?
So the kit comes with 4 quarts of the bed liner, a quart of activator, a cup, and the shoots gun. So you have everything there covered. We do have a kit that has a roller. They're also working on kits that may come with a tint to get maybe a gray texture. Some plastics are gray textured. We're looking into that. But right now, this is 4 quarts, a quart of activator, a cup, shoots gun, everything to get your bed or a Jeep like this done.
You addressed the durability, the UV protection. The third question people want to know, where's it made?
Made in the USA.
Everything made in the USA.
100%.
Fantastic. Well, like I said, this is an affordable way to make your vehicle look great. It's a great way to protect it as well, and to protect any surface. Aftermarketarmor.com is the place to find it. You can also find it at dealers all across the country. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com, so keep it locked here. Oh, by the way, Motorhead of the Week coming up.
Motorhead
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, coming to you from the Campbell's Custom Care Studio.
Always a great day here at Motorhead Garage, presented by Dragonfire Tools. When Forney comes in and paints the town green, our friend Gabby's here, and all the folks from Forney, you've brought some cool stuff for show and tell. What's new in the Forney line?
Yeah, so we have our new 190 MP. So this is our 3/8 machine. So multi-process, MIG, TIG, stick. It is just a lift arc TIG, so you cannot put a foot pedal on it. It does have an Amphenol connector on the front though, which allows us to use a spool gun. So that's really cool that you can purchase this machine and then also have capabilities for spool gun welding. On our, lower model machine, on our 140 MP, we don't have that capability. So this kind of meets the ground in between our 220 MP and our 140 MP. So this unit here is our basic spool gun, and so we have it hooked up to this machine. The cool thing about this unit is that it has a true set, and so if you choose the thickness of wire that you're using with your machine, it's just going to give you a setting. So it's just going to allow that machine to set itself, and then you're ready to rock and roll and start welding.
What are the parameters you need to put in there?
Yeah, so you just need to select with your center button the thickness of wire that you're using, and then you're going to select your gas and your thickness of material that you're welding on, and it'll base your settings off of that. So you have a trim adjustment from +9 to -9, and what that does is it makes it warmer or colder because every welder likes their welds a little different, and so we didn't want to completely take that away, so you still have the options to adjust it. And then of course we have a manual mode as well.
People that really want control, they can do it that
yes,
way too.
Yes, exactly.
And this is the basic spool gun here. Forney has come out with a new design that's ergonomically improved and some other cool features on it here. So.
Yeah, so it's really awesome. What you do is here with our basic spool gun, your spool is up top. So you have a lot of weight on that back end that you can't really control. And so by dropping the spool on the bottom, we have created a center of mass. So if you hold the spool gun near the trigger, then you're going to be able to balance it. You're not going to run into issues to where that spool is getting in the way. There's also an adjustment here on the neck. So you can swivel this neck if you need to and then tighten it back down. You could weld with it in the up position. You could do overhead and vertical a lot easier as well. So we have a lot of customers who are purchasing these that are doing a lot of out of position welding, and it's working really great for them.
Forney's not just about welders, you also have plasma cutters here. And here's a new one from Forney. What's new and exciting with this one?
Yeah, so this is our 45P Pro. So this is a part of our Pro line of machines. Right now we have 2, so it's exciting because now this is our second unit. We have a 40P, and sometimes people ask us, well, why did you come out with a 45? It doesn't make sense, right? 5 more amps, why does that make sense? Well, with the new torch that we offer, the consumables and the life of consumables, as well as the performance you get out of this torch, you can cut up to 7/8 clean cut, and you could sever up to 1 1/8 inches. So that's a lot of power compared to our 1/2 machine. So this machine really, really kicks some butt. So
what are some of the features of these machines that make them easy to use?
So these machines are designed so that people don't have to put a lot of thought into it while they're getting ready to use it. So like with this 190 MP, that true set, right? So that makes it really easy for an end user just to come in, select their wire, their thickness of material, and just weld. So that makes that machine super easy.
And who are the folks that are using Forney? Who are most of your customers?
Yeah, so we have a wide range of customers. So we have DIY, farm and ranch, automotive, light industrial. We kind of hit all aspects of that between our Easy Weld line up to our Pro line. So it's awesome.
If you're doing any welding from mild to wild, Forney is the place to go, ForneyIND.com. More Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com coming up.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com. Industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage. And brought to you by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. Shock Therapy, ride your way. And by Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radio since 1977.
This is Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com. Here on Motorhead Garage, you've seen a lot of custom cars, but you haven't seen anything like this. A custom golf cart from Copeland's Custom Carts. Daniel, you're the guy behind all of this. Why are carts like this so popular?
It started off a couple years back during the pandemic. Everyone wanted something but really couldn't get out. So all of a sudden, guess what? Golf carts hit the scene, went crazy. Everyone just wanted a regular golf cart. But here at Copeland's Custom Carts, we like to turn regular stuff into crazy things.
And golf cart's kind of a misnomer because that's how these start, but you aren't designing these for the golf course.
No, I rarely ever design them for the golf course. Mostly they're for neighborhoods, campgrounds, recreational use. We got into golf cart a couple years back while we were camping and noticed that there was a golf cart parade and everyone wanted the baddest golf cart. So hey, let's start it.
Well, and if you're spending that much time in the neighborhood or in the campground, you want it to be comfortable.
Right.
And stereos, another thing that they want, and all that stuff. So where does the customization begin? Do I bring one to you?
You can bring one to me, or I provide the carts. We start from the ground up. We start with the frame, motor, and build it to your desire. So you get to pick the color, the seats, the audio. We turn your dreams into reality, really, so it's fun.
Cool, and you started in audio.
Yes.
Way back when, and now how important is audio to a cart like this?
It just sets it off. You can have a regular golf cart and cruise with a handheld speaker, or you can have something that's built into your golf cart and Bluetooth. What we do is customize the audio.
And let's talk about this particular system. It's from Kenwood, right?
It is.
Yeah, why do you like to go with the Kenwood?
They make many different options, but this is fully marine grade, so you can actually leave it outside. So if it does get wet, you don't have to worry about ruining the speakers. It's fully marine grade speakers, front and rear, makes it easy.
You talk about leaving these out in the weather, and the seats are something that jumps out at me. This looks like leather, this looks something I don't want to leave outside, but that's not the case.
No, this is all marine grade material, so it can get weathered and get wet as well.
How much of this work do you do yourself?
I do pretty much all of it myself. I do use a company for my fabric, and I do use a paint company as well, but everything else is mine.
If folks are looking at this, a couple things are wondering, how fast does it go?
Your basic golf cart will run around 10 to 12 mile an hour. We like to beef that up a little bit. So we can actually add a different motor and controller. Some of these carts are pushing 35, 40 mile an hour. This in particular runs around 22 to 25.
So going that fast, is it street legal?
It is street legal, yes. To be street legal, you need a few things. Turn signals, of course, brake lights, headlights, tail lights, mirrors, a horn, and a DOT-approved windshield. And then also you can get a tag for that, the LSV tag, which is low-speed vehicle.
Well, of course, all the parts have the manufacturer's warranty, and Copeland's Custom Carts guarantees their work for 6 months. You can't beat it. You got to have one of these carts if you live on your golf cart. Find them at copelandscustomcarts.com.
Your car feeling a little sluggish, or perhaps you have a lack of power. It could be due to a clogged catalytic converter. Welcome to this AMSOIL Tech Tip. It's all about the catalytic converter, my friends. Let's talk about what it does. It takes those gases like HCs, hydrocarbons, runs it through there, and out comes H2O, water. Carbon monoxide comes into this, and out the other side comes carbon dioxide. Oxides and nitrogen, or NOx, that goes into the catalytic converter, and out comes nitrogen and oxygen separate. So you're not doing any damage to the atmosphere. How does it work? Well, it's all those precious metals you're hearing about, rhodium, palladium, and platinum. Very valuable piece here. What's going on is as it passes through there, a chemical reaction happens, and when it happens, it changes those states and it comes out as a clean gas. Now, what's going on? You actually can test these things. How do you test them? Well, they're like an oxygen storage container. If you blow heat on a fire, it's going to get hotter from the inlet to the outlet. So you could take a pyrometer, you can shoot one end, and then you could shoot the other end. You should have an increase in temperature from one end to the other, going up a little bit because it's taking that oxygen, it's blowing it on that fire, and it's getting hotter. Or you can go down and get a back pressure gauge. The back pressure gauge, you just take out the oxygen sensor, screw it in its place, crank it up, and look at the pressure. At idle, you should have about 1.5. At 2,000 or 3,000 RPM, you want 3 PSI or less. Back pressure is not a good thing. But Len, I wouldn't dream of messing with an exhaust system without spraying the bolts first, lubricating them, or you're gonna end up with broken bolts. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, that's always the case when you work on exhaust, is rust, and you have to deal with it, whether you're where I live in the northern states where things can get rusty, or where you are. You've got to deal with it, and for that we've got our metal protectant, and that's called MP. This is designed to get in there. It's very, very solvent, and it'll dig into those threads, it'll dig into that rust, and it'll actually free those bolts if you spray them 24 hours prior to working on it.
That's a great idea. What a tech tip right there. Now, I live in Florida, salt water. You live in the snow with salt. You got to protect it as well. you have another product for that?
That's correct. That would be the MPHD. So before it rusts, if you want to take care of it, you would apply this to it. Case in point, if you wanted to store a trailer, you'd spray the hitch or you'd spray the safety chains, anything that you didn't want to rust for a period of storage, we'd recommend this product. It forms a real protective coating on that metal and it sticks.
Now, rust is a 4-letter word, and you don't want that. So check out these products and so many more at their website, amsoil.com.
MotorheadGarage.tv. That's where you can go to tell us why you or someone you know should be our PaintedAutoParts.com Motorhead of the Week. Now, we've had builders, collectors, racers, all kinds of folks as our previous Motorheads. Well, how about a true Renaissance man? Dan Boyle lives in White House, Ohio, and first of all, he says he watches the show every week, so thank you, Dan. And by the way, Dan is a driver's driver when it comes to semi-trucks. He operates a triple, which is essentially a train that rolls down the highway, if you've never seen one of these things, over 100 feet long, and it takes mad skills, and he's got them thanks to 22 years of truck driving. When he's not behind the wheel of his big rig, you might find Dan cruising on a big old Goldwing. He sold his 1984 model a few years ago, moved up to a 2008, which he still loves. But Dan's real passion, I told you he was a Renaissance man, his real passion is music. Yeah, Dan plays the pipe organ, something he's actually been doing for 42 years in church. Bet you it's even more difficult than driving one of those triples. Well, hats off to Dan Boyle for being our PaintedAutoParts.com Motorhead of the Week, and to all the truckers out there who keep America and the entire world moving. And hats off to you for tuning in every week to Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com. From everyone here at Motorhead Garage, we'll see you next time.